Hello, this is the lecture for Unit 4, Reading and Responding to Peer-Reviewed Articles. Once you have become familiar with the available general background information about a research topic, it's time to take your research process to the next level, which means engaging peer-reviewed research papers and journal articles. Typically, the content of these journals is produced by and written for people who have a professional commitment to the relevant discipline. This means that these articles employ discipline-specific terminology, refer to professional concepts and debates, incorporate sophisticated experimental and statistical procedures, and may be written in a formal style, all of which can make these journal articles difficult to understand even for readers who are familiar with the topics under discussion. Don't worry though. As we all learned in first grade, academic writing always centers around a thesis statement. If you can identify the thesis statement of a research article, you have a handhold on the basic gist of the article, which can help orient you as you seek to understand how the finer-grained details relate to the article's thesis. To make things even easier, most research articles are prefaced by an abstract, a short paragraph that presents the article's thesis and provides an overview of the way the article elaborates and supports that thesis. You can always feel confident that no matter how complex or esoteric an article's contents may be, the article is always written around some comprehensible nugget that is not too difficult to understand, and that this nugget will be articulated in the article's abstract, repeated in the article's introduction, and likely reiterated in the article's final paragraphs or concluding section. For this reason, these three parts of an article are usually the most useful for a researcher, since they will likely contain all of the article's most important information. You will usually be able to tell from perusing an article's abstract, introduction, and conclusion whether a particular article is worth looking at more closely. With this reassurance firmly in mind, you can browse through a research database with confidence, knowing that any article that looks relevant to your line of inquiry can be quickly assessed for its applicability to your research project and, if necessary, mined for useful information. Depending on the search terms you use to locate research articles, you may conceivably find hundreds or even thousands of articles about your topic. Obviously, no one could possibly read everything there is to read about any topic, so your first step should be to identify articles that provide a broad overview of your topic, and then progress to more specific subtopics. Research articles also exist on a continuum from a broader to a narrower focus. As you get started, look for reviews of the literature and meta-analyses, which will usually be identified by their titles. These kinds of articles provide an overview of the most important studies that have been done in a particular field and synthesize the contents of dozens or even hundreds of other articles, and they can help a researcher to achieve a perspective on the big picture of what has been studied and written about in a particular area. Of course, you can also tweak your search terms to focus your search on sub-areas or more specific studies that address aspects of the topic that are particularly important to you. When you find an article that contains information that you find useful, the first thing you should do is print the article out. Acquire a folder that can serve as a home for these printouts and keep it with you whenever you do work on your research project. Cognitive science has demonstrated the superiority of reading from a printed page as opposed to a computer screen when it comes to comprehension and retention of information. As you read through the printout of your article, have a pen in your hand so that you can underline important passages and make notes. Ask questions, make connections with other articles, and outline the article's main points in the margins. These notes will often become the seeds out of which ideas for paragraphs will grow, and the more thought you put into reading these articles, the more you will likely have to say about your topic when it comes to writing your own research essays. Also, pay careful attention to the sources cited in the article. In many cases, you will likely be able to use the library's databases to locate these cited sources in order to track down even more detailed information about key points that relate to your research questions. Don't rush. Quality is more important than quantity. A thoughtful, in-depth response to a single article is more productive than a hurried overview of a dozen articles. Once you have carefully read and annotated a research article, sit down and write a paragraph about it. Identify the article's thesis and put the author's argument in your own words. After you summarize the article's contents, write a few sentences about your personal response to what you have read. What was the most convincing or least convincing thing about the author's argument? How does the article confirm or contest the ideas that you had before you read the article? What pieces of information stand out to you as particularly memorable or significant? How might you incorporate information from this article into your own writing project? Answering these kinds of questions in writing will give you a chance to integrate what the article says with what you already know, allowing you to make this information your own and make it available for your brain to work on. As you write these kinds of paragraphs, you will be compiling what researchers refer to as an annotated bibliography, a collection of detailed notes on key research sources. Ideally, producing this kind of document will not only improve your familiarity with the research that has been done on your topic, but will also help you to acquaint yourself more generally with the language and structure of professional research articles, empowering you to feel prepared to contribute your own perspective to the ongoing professional dialogue.